If you ever been gambling and lost a slip and thought, there's no way all of these missed, this video is probably why. Most people don't lose on PrizePicks because they're unlucky. They lose because they don't understand correlation. And once you actually get this concept, you'll realize you've been playing a completely different game than the app. So let's clear something up first. Correlation has nothing to do with picking safe players and everything to do with how props move together. If two props benefit from the same game outcome, they are correlated, whether you realize it or not. Here's the simplest example. If a quarterback throws for a ton of yards, what usually happens to his receivers? They will go over too. That's correlation. You're not winning two props independently. You're essentially betting on one game script. And when that script hits, you place multiple props at once. This is powerful, but it's also exactly why PrizePicks limits it. They don't want you stacking obvious correlations because it reduces their edge over you. Back in the day, you could stack a quarterback with 2 or 3 receivers and just print money. Now, if the correlation is too obvious, your payout gets nerfed to the ground. So correlation didn't just disappear though, it just evolved. And this is where most people mess up. They either overstack obvious correlations or avoid correlation entirely. Both are mistakes. Let's talk about bad correlation first. If you stack a quarterback's passing yards with his wide receiver's receiving yards, PrizePicks already nerfed that to the ground and they know that relationship. The payout is adjusted and your edge is gone. That doesn't mean it won't hit, it just means it's no longer profitable long term. Now here's where things get interesting. There's a difference between obvious correlation and a thing I like to call subtle correlation. Now subtle correlation isn't directly priced in, and that's where real edge comes from. I'm gonna give you an NBA example. If a star player goes over his points, what usually happens to his teammates' assists? Often, they go under. Why? Because a lot of those points are unassisted. This is why what I like to do is study the game-to-game correlation between star players' points and how many of those points are unassisted or assisted. This gives me a powerful edge over PrizePicks, as over time, I will have a significantly better edge than them and just print money. Same team, opposite props, still correlated. PrizePicks doesn't penalize this because it's not an obvious connection, but over a large sample size, it matters. This is what separates random slips from structured ones. You're no longer asking, will this player hit? You're asking, if this happens, what else is likely to happen? That mindset shift alone puts you ahead most of PrizePicks players and the 99%. Now let's talk about how correlation fits into slip types. Correlation works best in all or nothing formats. Like 4-man powers, they work best in. 5 flexes, they also work well in. And the best slip type of them all, 6 flexes. Why? Because you want all the props moving together. If the game script is wrong, you lose fast. If it's right, you sweep the cash. Trying to force correlation into 2-mans is pointless. You're limiting upside and avoiding the whole advantage. Correlation is not about winning more often. It's about winning bigger when you're right. And that's why it pairs so well with volume and discipline. One correlated pair means nothing. 20 over a week is where the math starts to matter. This is also why people quit too early. They hit a dry stretch, assume it doesn't work, and revert to random picks, which causes them to lose over time. Correlation doesn't remove this variance, it just makes the variance worth enduring with all the cashes you'll experience later on. Now here's the most important part. Correlation only works if your base picks aren't terrible. You can't stack bad lines and expect correlation to save you. It amplifies the edge. It doesn't create them. That's why the best approach is combining subtle correlation with solid lines and smart slip types. This is also why I focus on education first before selling a guide to every one of you. Once you understand this correlation, you stop chasing those hot streaks and you start building systems around just profit. And those systems will scale. If you're patient, consistent, and disciplined, correlation turns PrizePicks from just an entertainment into a long-term profitable strategy. I'm going to be breaking down more advanced examples soon, including how to identify subtle stacks before the market adjusts. And down the line, I'll be rolling out a place where all of this is applied in real time. Just a little spoiler. Until then, start thinking in game scripts, not individual props that aren't positive EV. If this helped you understand correlation better, please drop a like so more people actually learn this stuff. And if you want deeper breakdowns like this, also subscribe. This is just the foundation.